So what I want to talk about is the next thing. So I got my full mouth. Is technology, the technology battle that's been going on, the restrictions imposed on Huawei, and the unfair trade practices that America has been imposing on the world, and China in particular. And I thought about this, and I remembered something that happened about 6 years ago. And one of the things that America has been doing is restricting chip technology, semiconductors. They've been restricting the flow of these into China. So what this means is that Huawei has not been stopped, but it has been hampered by the restriction of the inflow of this kind of technology. Now, I have no doubt that this will backfire. And then what will happen is that China will and is developing its own standards of semiconductor technology and super chips and all these kind of things. And America just shoots itself in the foot by trying to create a monopoly on this thing. Instead of working in cooperation, America wants to control everything. And in controlling everything, all you do is break it. You break it apart. You work in cooperation, it's a win-win. And America doesn't have that zero-sum mentality. So, semiconductors and the restriction of coming into China. Now, about 6 years ago, a plane disappeared. And some wreckage maybe has been found, apparently. MH370? No, that was the Ukraine thing. That's another story. This was a plane was en route from Malaysia to Beijing. And the plane disappeared off the radar and has never been found, and the people on the plane have never been found. They say they found some wreckage. I'm not entirely sure that they have, or whether that wreckage was placed. But now, before you say there's a conspiracy theory, and here comes a conspiracy theory, remember that this is a term that was coined by the CIA to discredit anybody who questioned anything. They were labeled as a conspiracy theorist. So I'm going to give you a conspiracy theory because I believe there's a conspiracy. It's that simple. And my theory is this. On board that plane that went down, that went missing, that disappeared, were 20 people who worked for a technology company based in Austin, Texas, where I used to live for a while, in Austin. Not far from the Bush Ranch, actually, strangely enough. And this company is called Freescale. Freescale were making semiconductors and developing semiconductor technology. And 4 of those people on the plane were Chinese, who owned a patent for a new way of wafering layers on semiconductor chips. And they held a patent in conjunction with Freescale. And with them dying, that patent passed into the hands of a company called BlackRock. BlackRock are owned by the Rothschilds, Jacob Rothschild, I believe. So people die, people disappear, and a patent gets moved and re-owned by somebody else, given to somebody else. And that technology, I believe, would have been greatly beneficial to China and therefore the rest of the world, because China shares things. And that plane disappeared with those people on it. They lost the patent because they're dead, or they disappeared, or they're missing. So is that a conspiracy theory? Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory because I believe there's a conspiracy. So I have a theory about it. Do you see? This label of conspiracy theory is used in a derogatory way, but actually there are conspiracy theories because there are fucking conspiracies. It's quite simple. So the applications of semiconductors, for those who don't know, they're pretty important because all the technology we need now, and we're using AI and phones and missiles and armaments, all these very important things, this high-tech stuff needs semiconductors and needs the development of semiconductors. And many people who were involved in that company disappeared with the plane. And 4 people, Chinese people, who owned the patent. They invented this new way of doing things with semiconductors, disappeared too with that plane. And the patent for this invention ended up being owned by Rothschild. That name will come up again and again and again. And we will talk more about Rothschild in future episodes.